Okay, this is an HCG chili recipe. It's got no beans. What we've got, the recipe is found on our website at hcgloser.com. There also should be a link at but here I'm doubling the recipe. So what we've got here, I've got a mixture of turkey and lean ground beef. I've got 96% lean ground beef, and then I've got the turkey, which is about 93%. I think it's as lean as you can get. So I've got, the recipe calls for a pound. I've got 2 pounds of meat. Then I have got tomatoes. Now the tomatoes, you can do fresh tomatoes or you can do the canned tomatoes. I've just got regular canned tomatoes. This is a 28-ounce can, which works out to about 3.5 cups. So I'll probably add a little bit more tomatoes than this to double the recipe, which calls for 3 cups. So I'm going to put 2 of these cans worth in. I've got a cup of onions. I've actually got 2 cups of onions. It calls for half a cup of chopped onions. I've got a cup of chopped onions. That's the garlic. I bought the already minced garlic. I've got 4 tablespoons of that, which works out to about 8 cloves of garlic. The recipe calls for 4. I've got the cayenne pepper, the onion powder, and the oregano. And then I've got water. And then I add in 90, you can see it's 99% fat-free beef broth. That gives it a little bit more taste, and it also makes it so there's quite a bit of chili as well. So I am going to go ahead and brown this beef and meat, and I am not adding the onions and garlic in yet, and I'll show you why here in just a second. Okay, the reason that I have not yet, let me turn this light on so you can see, the situation is you can see all of the fat that is cooked out when you cook the hamburger. I'm going to try to get rid of that. So we're going to drain that out. Some of it's fat, some of it's just the moisture from the hamburger. But if you cook it a little longer, it'll cook all the moisture off, but then there's fat left. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. So what I've done is I've got hot water, and I am rinsing now the beef in a strainer. Rinsing it with hot water to see if I can get all of the fat off. Okay, does that make sense? Now the problem with that is much of the flavor is in the fat and the juices that occur when you cook the food or cook the meat. So it's up to you whether you want to drain it. I do, but that's why I add the beef broth at the end. So now I've got my 2 pounds of ground beef, which is double the recipe. Now I have added it back in to the pan and the heat. I'm going to throw in my onions and my garlic like it says to do. And I'm going to saute this together for a while so that it cooks the onions and the garlic. Now you can see I have actually already added 1.5 cups of water. I'm going to add the other 1.5 cups of water, and you'll be able to see why at the end that I add more beef broth, because it is thick stuff. I put the water in. Now I'm putting 1 can of tomatoes in and the other can of tomatoes in, and so you can see from a thickness standpoint, that is some thick chili. So if you like it thick, you can continue that, but that's why I add the beef broth at the end. So it makes, and you get a lot of chili. You'll be able to see, this will be 8 servings. The amount of serving you get is about the size of that can. It's about 3 cups worth per serving. So okay, it's been simmering for a while, not much, just to heat it up enough. It hasn't even started to boil yet. Now I'm going to add my spices, which is the chili powder, the onion powder, and the oregano. Adding all those spices in to start with, and then you'll want to to taste, you'll add the cayenne pepper in. Now, I didn't have the cayenne pepper laid out when I first started the recipe, but you add in cayenne pepper, and I use about, a quarter of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's what I start with, and then depending on how hot you like it, that's what you add in. So you can see it's extremely thick right now. I'm going to add in the beef broth. Now remember, this recipe is doubled, so I'm adding 2 cans of beef broth in. There's 1 and 2. And again, you can put as much as you want or as little as you want. The beef broth has almost no fat, a few calories, but not a whole lot. Now that's about the thickness of the chili that you want. Now after you heat it up, it'll actually boil out some of the fluid as well, and it really works well. So I'm now going to add my cayenne pepper, and I will be done. The thing about this is you can refrigerate it, or you can actually, I take little sandwich bags and freeze it individually, and then I just take it out and heat it up as desired throughout the week or month that you're on the diet. Good luck. This is great chili. Now the last thing is that I do add some salt and a little bit of pepper to taste. It does need a little bit of salt again, but that's okay on the HCG diet. You can add salt as you'd like, and if you want more spices, you can still add more spices depending on what your taste is. You can add more oregano, more onion powder, whatever you'd like. Good luck.